Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Advisor. Please hit the like and subscribe button so you can continue to hear amazing content like we're about to provide you today. Today, we're spotlighting a trailblazer, rewriting the rules of well-being. We're sitting down with Nate Zeleznick. He's a visionary speaker, a healer, and human potential pioneer, crowned U.S. Wellness Coach of the Year of 2024, the Fortuna Global Excellence Awards, and honored with the Health 2.0 Visionaries Award in Dubai. So his career, he is the creator of Integrated Ascension Method, IM, a breakthrough system that merges 500-year-old Royal Indonesian energy practices with modern neuroscience, biochemistry, and wellness tech. So, with more than 37,000 hours of training and transformational leadership, his work has empowered millions and continues to. He's been featured in Netflix, GAIA, and Amazon Prime, sparking a worldwide reimagining of what it means to heal. Today, we're diving deep into awareness and mindset. This is going to be the start of his series with us, where we go deep in what awareness and mindset mean and its connection to the body. So today's conversation gets really personal because Nate is actively reversing a brain tumor using breathwork, meditation, supplementation, frequency medicine, and guidance from elite energy healers. And he is going to tell us all the things and all about it. I am really excited. And with that, welcome to the show, Nate.
Lisa, thank you so much for having me, and hello to everybody out there who's watching or listening right now.
So, how are you doing today? I know you told me a little bit before we hit record.
Well, you know what I said to you, I'll say to everybody else, if I were any better, it might be illegal. So, I've been a very big proponent of gratitude, of mindfulness, of meditation, of going within and living an embodied life. And I've been teaching millions of people globally for the past 26 years. But I tell you what, once you see a brain scan that shows something in your head that's not supposed to be there, every single moment takes on a life of its own, meaning that every single second becomes precious and it's a gift. And so that's why I say if I were any better, it might be illegal because I live every single second that I possibly can with every breath that I take in a state of reverence and peace and love for this life that I have been so blessed to have.
Wow, that's beautiful. And it's interesting because sometimes we feel, we could be as fit as a fiddle and be eating all the right things and be doing, the things that are supposed to make us feel good. Um, and then we find out something like that. What was that moment like for you where you found out that you had a brain tumor? And then how did that change the whole like trajectory of what you're doing?
When the doctor walked in, well, let me preface this. The reason that I went in is because I lost sensation of my skin all over my entire body. I couldn't feel my body. And
Oh.
obviously that's normal, right? So I go in, I get this, blood work came back fine. X-ray of the chest came back fine. But then when he came in and he said, uh-oh, and I went, uh-oh, what? Well, the thing is, Lisa, I knew what he was going to say before he said it. And in fact, going into that, I had the intuitive knowing, I wonder if this is a brain tumor. And that had never crossed my mind in my life, ever. But just going in, I just had this intrinsic, like internal knowing that this is what this is going to be. So then he shows me the screen and he's scrolling through all the different MRI slides and then he stops on one and I see this white mass on my brainstem. And he says, this thing, that's not supposed to be there. So
Mm.
if you could just imagine that you've spent well over half your life, over 38,000 hours of devoted practice, meditation, martial arts practice, teaching, and training people globally. And then all of the things that I thought that I had mastered, the inner peace, the calm, the self-knowledge, that was all wonderful preparation. And I suggest everybody really devote themselves to a practice where they get to know themselves better, because all of that was training me and preparing me for that single moment. So instead of resorting right to fear and going, oh no, I'm going to die. Well, guess what? We're all going to die. I've had a near-death experience where I left my body and I chose to come back into it in 2007 during one of my martial arts tests in Indonesia, because in the systems that I teach, yes, it is that brutal. It's not
Wow.
what it's exactly what you'd think in a Hollywood movie. And so then I went very quickly from, okay, what is happening to how is this for me?
Right.
I obviously have served this up as a lesson. And what is the lesson that I'm here to learn? Because I don't believe for one moment that anything that ever happens in our life, whether we consider it an accident or whether it is something that just came out of the blue, our soul, our higher self is so intrinsically intelligent and powerful that we always have our goal line, but then we have our soul line. And none of us knows what that is. But the universe always serves us up exactly what we need to learn when we need to learn it. And I know this. Well, the thing is that this time it didn't serve up a lesson gently. It served it up pretty violently, if I may say so.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's a shock. But the shock was actually quite short-lived for me, which I know for a lot of people out there who have a cancer or an Alzheimer's diagnosis or PTSD or chronic fatigue or a chronic disease of any kind, it comes as a shock and it's a lasting shock, especially if they're in discomfort or pain. So for me, I was very blessed for the fact that I actually didn't have pain. I had the exact opposite. I had lack of sensation, both of which are extremely concerning, though, because they're a warning sign from the body, from the higher intelligence, something isn't right. And so I moved very quickly, honestly, Lisa, from a state of, oh no, to, okay, what now?
Right.
And moving not because I'm a guy and move into fix it mode, but because I know for a fact that the body has an amazing ability to be balanced and heal itself. And this was my opportunity as the healer to heal thyself and to
Right.
really walk the talk that I've been teaching so many people for so many
Yeah.
years. It's honestly, it's not something that I would recommend to anybody, but it's also not something that you could serve up to yourself as a lesson consciously. It's something that comes into your life like this for us to learn from a higher source so that we here on the physical plane can learn exactly what that lesson is. And for those people out there who are listening, have you ever had a lesson that you thought was like the worst thing ever, and then later you found out it was a blessing? It was a lesson,
Yeah.
what I call a blessing, where sometimes the most painful things can turn into the most important and beautiful lessons of our lifetime. And that's exactly where I sit now.
That's so beautiful. It feels like, you went from this place of knowing. You studied, you learned all of these tools, the meditations, the body work, and then it was time to like fully embody that. I know for me, I went through a phase where it's like I knew everything. And ego, I'm like, oh, I know that. I know how to talk the therapy talk. I know how to do this. I could teach it with my eyes closed, but I wasn't embodying it.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe we should talk about how our beliefs literally create our biology. Let's get into that. And can you relate to that embodiment statement? What I'm talking about of like actually embodying what you're learning, and that's when things start to change.
Yeah, without a doubt. There are so many different, I would say, mental, energetic, and spiritual modalities out there. And a lot of them are based upon belief, or they're based upon
Right?
a master tuning you or doing something to you. The thing is that we are the infinite, unlimited, eternal being ourselves. Each of us
Yeah.
is. And so, like Ram Dass, many years ago, decades ago, he said, treat everyone as if they are God in drag. And that's so
Okay.
true. As are you, as am I. I even have
Yeah.
I am that I am tattooed on my arm because it reminds me every time I look down at my hands that I am everything and you are everything. But we so often forget that because we see the separation. We see male or female, we see races, we see religions, we see nationalities, we see Pleiadians or humans or Arcturians, whatever it is, we see that othering. And as soon as we step out of that and we start to realize, just like, say, I'm not necessarily Christian, but the Christ consciousness concept that there is only light. And once you step into that, there is no such thing as darkness. Well, that's a very good thing to say, but like so many things that are easy to say, it's also very difficult to do. But once you
Yeah.
get a taste, if you can just imagine what it would be like to have a taste of the divine or a feeling of the divine, the heart center opening, the crown chakra opening, being able to see beyond eyesight for even a moment, that's a bell that you can't unring,
Yeah.
and you're forever changed from that moment on. For me, I would have to say that through all the practice, through all these, a near-death experience, through numerous out-of-body experiences, through being able to teach people and learn how to use this sacred practice that I brought to the United States, that some people can actually see without their eyes. Some people can remote view. Some people can have conscious, willful out-of-body experiences and so many other different powers. It all comes down to how well do I know myself? And so when you talk about embodiment, that's one thing that I love about my integrated ascension method is in a world, yeah, I'll just say in a world where there are so many things where people want to experience the quantum, they want to get away from the body.
Right.
That's why on my professional title, I'm a global breath and biometaphysics expert, because when it comes to biometaphysics, which I think I may have coined that term too, doing the metaphysical and understanding of the energy, but using our body as this amazing receiver and broadcaster of energy. Whether we want to or not, whether you believe it or not, that's what's happening. But to be able to tap into that and understand so that no matter who you are, whether you're an atheist, whether you're devout Muslim or Christian or Hindu, it doesn't matter. You have a body, you do the exercises, you will have experience that you cannot deny. You will be a different person even after 5 minutes of what I teach. That has happened over and over and over again for people of every single walk of life, from a Olympic gold medalist to soccer moms. It doesn't matter. You have a body. This is an amazing instrument of consciousness. And if you are able to tap into and harness how you can perceive more than what you've been led to believe or even observed as possible, you're never the same again. And you just simply go vertical from there. And, that's why this embodied practice, and I've never seen a more embodied practice than the art called Merpati Putti, which is the base. That's the white dove system from the royal family of Java that I pioneered in the United States 26 years ago as the first non-Indonesian ever allowed to learn it. When you do this, you're going to feel better physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and the benefits that people get from it, from their immune system function to their mitochondrial function to their cardiovascular function improving, their heart rate going down, their blood pressure, all these different things. Really, what it boils down to is being able to be strong enough, in tune enough to live your ultimate life.
So explain to us what you mean. Like, what is that practice teaching us, in really simple terms?
Okay, really simple terms. It is teaching you how to go within, first of all, and really start to remember the taking your member and reintroducing it and remembering who and what and how powerful you truly are. It's done through a series of breath work that is unlike any other in the world. So you've got the Wim Hof method, and you've got holotropic, and you've got 9D, and you've got 5D breath work, and these other ones that
Yeah.
are hyperventilation. So you're breathing over and over, and you get enough oxygen that you pass out, see God, pee your pants, or have a revelation. And this is actually very different. This is intermittent hypoxia, meaning we're doing very controlled breath holds, but the Merpati system and the I am system goes many steps farther in the fact that we're doing different moving mudras and different movements through the body to align all of the energy systems in the body where you can feel it. Like this coffee, when I take a drink of my coffee, I taste coffee. When you do these movements, you feel the energy. You cannot help but not because you are an energetic being. And so to get back to your question, the way that this works is that we hack the biology and the metaphysicality of our body in a way that Western minds can understand because you can't deny it, and it's almost every part of it is scientifically observable, provable, and demonstrable, really. And
Yes,
that's one thing that really helps, especially in today's day and age, is because a lot of people do travel the faith and the belief route and the dogmatic route, which is great. But there are still a lot of people that have this big left brain that are like, well, how does it work? How's it going to benefit me? What can I do with this? And the I am system really helps people tap into that and know exactly what they're going to be able to do and gives them results quickly. And then I mix in the biohacking and vibroacoustic therapy and the most advanced binaural brainwave entrainment and nutrition and supplementation so that you're giving your body, your mind, and your spirit every single opportunity to really ascend. And that's why with my new program, the Ascended Living Program, which today is A, right, of ascend, awareness and mindset. Everything has to start with awareness. Because if you don't have awareness and if you don't have a proper mindset, especially if you have some kind of a chronic disease or a diagnosis, something you don't prefer in your life, if you're doing it mindlessly or if you're allowing your monkey mind to chatter off into the places where even if you're eating right, but you're producing so many hormones of stress that you're taking two steps forward and sliding back three.
right.
I'm sure you'd agree, and everybody out there can understand what that's like, where you work so hard and you don't feel like you're making that progress. Well, what if there was a bona fide system that has over 500 years of track record and it's been, like you mentioned, Amazon Prime, Gaia, Netflix, numerous documentaries worldwide that has been able to show people how to do these things and be these things. That's why it's so important that this message gets out.
It is such an important message. I would love to hear you define awareness and mindset. These are terms, I see them everywhere. The terminology, how to have a stronger mindset, develop an awareness. Even the word authenticity. People are throwing around these terms, and I feel like people don't truly understand what they mean. What
Yeah.
do they mean? What is awareness mindset?
Okay. So first of all, I'll go to the authenticity. You know it when you feel it right here in your chest, in your heart. Have you ever been around someone and they're speaking to you and you can just feel their heart? They are so genuine. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. You could just feel this radiating from them and they're giving you 100% of their attention and focus, energy, and love. We know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is you can't fake it. You're either authentic or you're not. And authenticity has been shown to actually carry much more energy than the energy of love as far as output. So people
Okay.
can smell BS a mile away,
Yeah,
right? Most people
totally.
can, except for the most naive, and that's okay. They're learning that lesson too. So authenticity is very important, and that actually steps right into awareness because awareness is, let me explain it this way. Prayer is like asking God for something. Meditation is listening for the answer. So, how that relates to awareness is that most often people are in the process of thinking, of judging, of labeling, but you cannot be aware while you're doing that. It's like you cannot talk and listen at the same time. You can only do one or the other fully. So, awareness is, say, asking that question or sending out that desire and sitting with it. That's why meditation is so important. It's not just on the physical level, it's on the mental level and the spiritual level as well. that when we sit in awareness, that is a state of no thought. We're not judging. We're not trying to conform and put things in a box. What we're doing is we're simply paying attention to what is.
Mm.
That's very important when it comes to a chronic disease, because if you believe the diagnosis of a doctor, great, it's good to know. I know that the MRI shows there's a brain tumor on my brainstem. But if you listen to their prognosis, you only have 3 months to live. Well, I have numerous friends that are now a decade plus past
Right,
stage 4 cancers when they were given 3 to 9 months to live. And they chose a different path. They chose not to believe what the authority figure in the white coat said. You only have this long. I mean, they're just doing their job. That's what they see. That's what they're told to say, and that's what they've been seeing throughout their career. So it's not their fault. They're not doing it maliciously. However, they also are not you. They're not the one with their head on the chopping block, so to speak. So
yes,
they're not speaking from that perspective of, first of all, infinite possibilities that are, there are numerous cases of spontaneous healing. I've seen it numerous times with cancers going away in a week from meditation, etc. But it's also, for a lot of them, their medical license is on the line. So if they even
right,
suggest anything alternative, they could actually be ousted from the medical community. So they actually have fear. They have a lot to lose because honestly, a lot of those doctors still have hundreds of thousands of dollars of like medical schooling debt. So that, I
right.
mean, they're a rock in a hard place. But the thing is that Joe Dispenza, he said that in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. And
Yeah,
so now we have this opportunity, Lisa, to educate ourselves. We don't need to go to the priest for our spirituality. We don't need to go to the doctor for our health. We don't need to go to X in order to find out X anymore. We actually have this amazing ability, like we're doing right now, to communicate and find out information instantly.
yeah,
Now, that also is a double-edged sword because there's a lot of confusion that people have. What should I do?
tons.
Should I take this? Should I take that? And maybe you don't know what's right for your body. And that's where my Ascended Living program, where I actually help muscle test people for what supplements they need, what amounts they
Right.
need. It's going to work with them. It helps refine that process quite a bit. And it is each of our own responsibility to take our own health into our own hands. And
Yeah, I was just thinking
awareness,
that.
that's why
I was
awareness is
gonna
so
say,
important.
I was just gonna say when you were talking about the white coat, we need to take our power back because we know what we need.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of influencers out there that are throwing these terms around and selling things and promising this and it's not realistic for our bodies. So you providing people with the like everybody is an individual. Everyone has supplements that are going to enhance and complement their bodies. So that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. We need to take our power back.
Yeah, agreed. And as far as mindset is concerned, mindset would actually kind of be the other side of the coin from awareness, because awareness is actually not having any mindset at all. You're completely open. So for me, this is just for me, and I encourage everybody out there to enjoy this as well. I like a mindset of curiosity. How is this
Okay.
for me? How did I create this? What lesson is being learned? Is what lesson is being served up for me to learn? And the big questions. Where did I come from? Why am I here? What is my purpose on life? What happens to me after this no longer works? These are big questions and they've been pondered since the dawn of time. And you can sit there and believe what people say, whether it's in the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the hieroglyphics from ancient Egypt, whatever it is, and that's great, as long as it resonates here. And then it's also very important to ask the right questions because honestly, having the right answers is smart, but having the right questions is genius.
Yeah.
And if you ask the right questions and then you sit in awareness, that's going to really inform your mindset in this way. If you have curiosity, how is this for me? How is this me? And then you sit with that awareness. You don't need to necessarily have a mindset of, I must go out to battle and I must beat this thing. I must fight cancer. I prefer harmony. because this is obviously here for a reason. And if I fight it using force against force, there's never I heard a saying that there's never the right time to do the wrong thing. Not that fighting cancer is the wrong thing, but if we're fighting against it, like I must be fighting against myself and my own cells and why I created this, and we creates this internal conflict on a subconscious and a cellular level. Well, is that really necessary? I don't know. For some people, that's their lesson and that's necessary. But for me, it is not. For me to say, I am actively healing, I am actively completely whole. Everything that I am learning, all the things that I am manifesting are toward my highest good. I am so happy and grateful now that I expand in health and in love every single day. And I inspire those around me to do the same. I live by that mantra, which is actually from a book by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap, which is an amazing book. And it really helps us not just in taking a leap into our zone of genius, but also into the zone of health. So I highly
Right.
recommend that book, The Big Leap. If you can read it, go get it. It's awesome.
Amazing. Can you talk to us about your brain tumor and how you started, the healing journey from within? What does that look like, and what did that look like?
Well, I have to say, Lisa, my journey has been very different than anybody else in history, and I'll explain why. So I see this brain tumor. And I mean, if you could just imagine what a shock that was. But like I said,
Yeah.
I flipped the script very quickly on it. And when I actually created a GoFundMe campaign and I put out into the world that this is what's going on. I've got this GoFundMe campaign. I have healing treatments that I really need some help with financially. Thank you so much. The amount of love, support, prayers, well wishes, donations to support me has been um, it's
Mm.
unfathomable. The
I
amount
can
of love
feel
is
you through the screen. That gratitude is just vibrating from your body.
it is incredible. And so then, since I do have an amazing network of pioneers in the fields of biochemistry, in stem cells and V cells, in exosomes, in binaural beat healing technology, in rife frequency healing, these friends started reaching out to me. And some of them have created technology for me that no one in the world has ever seen. So that's why I say nobody has ever done this, but they are bringing these things to light, and I'm helping them because they're so effective and they help on every single level of my being, and I want to be able to help other people with that as well, even if they don't have a chronic disease and they just want to feel better or they want to set a new personal record in the 100-meter run, like sprint. There's all kinds of things. We have a body and it can be optimized, but most people have no idea what it feels like to live in a body that is fully optimized on the dietary, nutritional, supplemental, the energy levels, the mental levels. And so helping people be able to do that is really my huge passion now. And for me to switch from, okay, how is this for me? That's important. But then I switched very quickly to how can I make this for everyone? How can I help the literally hundreds of millions of people that will be diagnosed with cancer or Alzheimer's in the United States alone? How can I make this for a we? So for me, that's really I've lived a life of service to other people for many, many years, since well over half my life. I'm 50 years young now, or 50 years wise. I'm not a fan of the old term, so I'll say 50 years wise. And for 26 years, it's been a full-time profession and obsession with helping people maximize every area of their life. And the thing is that is so beautiful, Lisa, is when somebody, say, has cancer and they use this protocol and then they don't have the cancer. No guarantees, but when that happens, what else can you give somebody that is more valuable than even one more day on this
Yeah.
planet? When I've worked with children who were severely bullied, as I was as a child, and they're able to stand up to the bully or they're able to stand up for themselves and feel confident after they earn a new belt rank which is one of the biggest benefits of martial arts for children, for sure. Seeing, being able to help people who were in a situation that I was in, but I had no one to help me, massive heart opener.
Mm,
When I've worked with people who can't see, and they can start to sense vibrationally the world around them, and they don't run into the wall, they stop before they get there, or they know when a color is blue or yellow or red or green. If you could just imagine what it would be like to close your eyes and never be able to open them again, if you can give somebody the ability to sense in a different way. So I hope this makes sense. It's always been about not just transformation, but liberation for people. And that's where I sit squarely right now with this ascended living program is it doesn't matter if you have cancer or Alzheimer's or a terminal disease, terminal, I use that in quotes, terminal disease, or if you simply want to live a healthier, better life and really enjoy as a vital, healthy human every single day until you don't. This
right.
program is it's poised to change lives on a level that we've never seen because it's a trifecta of modalities that each one of us is a unicorn of a master in our field that no one else in the world actually does. And when you get all three of us together, and I'll tell you more about that if you'd like, uh, it is going to be something that revolutionizes the face of medicine and healing.
Yeah, this all of this gets me so excited. I'd love for you to explain what it feels like because I know a lot of the population doesn't know what it feels like to be at ease.
Yes.
People don't know how to slow down. And when you're talking about like literally giving people through your program the ability to like reconnect with themselves, what does that feel like when you're finally in alignment and you can, like you said, you have that moment of connection? Like, what does that feel like?
Yeah. That's very difficult to describe to someone that has never experienced it. Kind of like if you tried to ask somebody who's blind and has never seen, try to describe the color
Right.
red.
Yeah.
So that's very difficult. And we have a lot of people, most people, I would say, are in a state of dis-ease. Maybe they don't have an
Right.
outward disease diagnosis, but they're not at ease. We have adrenal function just overload for everybody in Western society, or almost all society now. We have so many chronic diseases. We have so much pollution in our water, our food, our air, our
Yeah.
EMF, and the 5G, all these things bombarding us that once people actually experience what it is like to be in a state of true calm, you want nothing more. You want
Right.
nothing more. It's so far beyond chill. It's
Right.
and so the thing is that we cannot learn who we truly are unless we listen and let our soul or our spirit, our subconscious, our higher self, however you want to call it, speak to us and remind us. It's not about doing something. It's about not doing something. And so my highest wish is that people will take some time every single day for meditation for themselves. It's not new age. It's about knowing who you really are instead of who you've been programmed to be by your parents, by clergymen, by your school, by your friends, by your observations, by Instagram. We
Yeah.
are products of our programming. And so letting go of our programming because we're the ultimate coder. We're the ultimate coder of ourselves. But we've had other people sitting at the keyboard typing in code since before we were born.
Yeah.
So to sit there and say, okay, Control Alt Delete, boom, Task Manager. I want to see what programs are running. There's only one way you can do that, and that's to listen. And that harkens back to awareness. But once you have that, everything changes.
I love that. I'm getting chills. The unlearning is, I could argue, one of the most difficult things because you're right. We were put into this world and there's all these factors and there's so many pressures coming in from so many different ways. Yeah, the unlearning. That's a big, big, big part of it.
Yeah, it really is. And that's, at the heart of the Ascend program, we have awareness and mindset. We have source through breath. So on the next show, we'll be covering some of the intermittent hypoxic inner power generating breath work that I brought from Indonesia here to America that
Beautiful.
everybody out there is going to feel electrified, like in a good way, within
Yeah.
minutes, guaranteed. If you do it, if you have a body, so you make sure that you set aside the time for that one. But then after that, we have C, which is the center point reset, and my business partner, as well as I call her my cosmic co-pilot, my soulmate. Her name is Jemiah Vanderbilt, and she has a very unique method of recentering the electromagnetic poles in our body so that all of our organs get all of the energy as they're supposed to. She does this in a matter of minutes, both in person and remotely.
Wow.
People have dropped 30 plus year addictions in half an hour with her for good. It's that powerful. So that's the C, and I'll talk about that in the third lesson. Then we have E, which is eat to thrive. So the supplementation and the nutrition that I've personally used to drop 81 pounds in the past 6 months, get all of my blood markers absolutely perfect, been able to add 15 pounds of muscle, and been able to start
Wow.
actively reversing this tumor, which it is going down. As the MRIs are showing that it is getting smaller. So that's going to be fourth. The fifth is new frequency technologies. So this is bringing to the forefront the most advanced medical and scientific technologies for cancer reversal, Alzheimer's reversal, diabetes reversal, which these things are backed up with scientific evidence. But most people have never heard of them. And so I want to bring those things to light. And then D, the last letter is decode your biology through biohacking. So everything from cold water immersions to red light therapy, we're going to cover a lot here. But all of these things are all aimed toward helping us be in complete harmony and balance and homeostasis in every system in our body and our mind. And so I'm so excited for the rest of this.
I'm so excited for the rest of it and for the audience. So the audience right now is buzzing and they want to know where can they find out a little bit more information about this program?
Well, it releases next week, so it's still hush hush, but that's okay.
Okay.
You can scan this QR code with your phone, or you can go to natez360.com. And when you go to natez360.com, you're going to have the opportunity to find out a lot more about the different programs that I've been offering for many, many years. You're going to be able to get my app for free where you can have me right there on your phone. You're going to be able to also schedule a one-on-one call to be one of the very first people who gets to interview for the Ascended Living program because spaces are very limited because we're working with scientists that can only do so much in so much time.
Yes.
And we only have so much time to devote to our one-on-one sessions for our people that it's going to be first come, first serve, of course. But when people do that, we'll have a very special offer for the earliest adopters for this who want to really take this groundbreaking step. So that's the best way, Lisa, is scan the code, get the app, go to natez360.com, and then you can also see so much more about what I do because we've barely scratched the surface today.
Yeah, well, thanks for spilling the secret. One more week and people will be able to hear more about it. And I'm so excited to get into all of these things. And do you have any last minute thoughts to leave the audience with today about our conversation before we say goodbye?
Yes. You know more than you think, and you think more than you know. So, by starting off every day in a state of gratitude, starting with the sentence which is from Bob Proctor, for people who are aware of that, who that is, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then start listing off these things in your life. I am so happy and grateful now that I truly cherish every moment with my family. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am the infinite, unlimited, eternal, creative being that I get to shape every moment of my life. I am so happy and grateful that I got up today and I got to have this amazing, miraculous breath of life whatever it is for you. But go through 10 different things that I am so happy and grateful now for. Just see, just notice how your day improves when you start your day in a state of gratitude.
Well, I can definitely say that I'm so happy and grateful that we got to sit down today and have this conversation. I know so many people are going to be grateful for it as well. And I'm really excited for what's to come. So thank you so much for being here today.
Lisa, it's always my honor and my pleasure. I'm looking forward to 5 more classes with you and with Stacy. And for everybody out there, I hope that you create an amazing day and an amazing now on purpose.
Amazing. Did you guys hear that? You can create your amazing now and do it on purpose. You just heard from Nate Zeleznick, and he's going to be around for a while. So keep a watch for his episodes. You can find him on our channel. We'll make sure to link all of the things he talked about today so you have easy access to these amazing tools and information. Stay curious, everyone.